Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Heidi, Ms. Groom. Hello, Kenneth. How are you? I've updated the studio. I've been inspired by a certain Mr. Beaver, Caleb. I love his new setup. The whole black background. It's cool. Now, I will have to do that eventually, but for now, I hope you like my wall of shoes. Everything from the 3 high tops to the 6s, all the way down. One's got everything going on. Mr. Daniel Chaffey will be joining us very shortly. Thought I'd pop on and say hello before we have His Royal Highness on the show. Daniel is, of course, founder, operator of the French Throwdown, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to, once again, Mr. Daniel Chaffey. Hello, sir. Oh, I can't hear you, unfortunately.
Hey, mate, can you hear me?
We can now. We can now.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow, my face looks really big. Hang on. Oh, there we go. That's better.
You do have a big head, though.
I've been told that before. It can come in use. How are you, sir? You doing well?
I'm not bad. Apologies. I was hoping to be home, but I'm stuck in, I don't know whether it's like Black Friday extended traffic or something, but
oh, right. Oh, not to worry.
A bit of a pain in the ass.
We can see and hear you perfectly well, so thank you very much.
I can multitask.
Oh, very good. You're driving, are you?
I am, yeah.
All right, okay, that's fine then. That's all right then. Daniel, before we begin, I'm not a jealous man usually, but one thing I am very jealous of is your beard.
Oh, the George Clooney look, yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching its evolution over the last sort of 6 months or so, and I'm really jealous.
It was really big and bushy, and I was in London for a few days, and I just popped into this Turkish barber. He was an old geezer, and he said, "What do you want?" I said, "I'll just give it a trim," and it came out looking quite sprucey. I was like, he's on, when they put like some sort of product and they set fire to your face and all that kind of stuff.
The ears.
Yeah, the ears. He did the whole, like, it was pretty damn good. Yeah. The bushy eyebrows, the whole caboodle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have to keep on top of that. I'm over 40 now, Daniel, so I need to keep on top of those things as well. I'm catching up.
You're in the Masters Plus category now.
Apparently so. Yeah. And I've made
I saw a photo of you of your kit off. You had your shirt off, and actually, like, you're one of those guys that you can't tell that he's all that ripped when he's got his clothes on, but when he takes off, like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. he's actually, yeah. I was surprised. I was like, oh, Photoshop.
Yeah, it was. It's all AI. It's fine.
Painted on that. No, you're ripped, mate, for an old geezer.
Thank you very much. I think that's a compliment. Yeah. So you're in London now, are you?
No, back in Bordeaux.
Okay.
We've got at the beginning of the month we do a leadership meeting with the leaders from the boxes, and so the 6 of them come to Bordeaux. So tomorrow they're coming to my house, but today they're working at the box here in Bordeaux, and so we do a day's training with them today, and then tomorrow is a day of 4 meetings, operational meetings, new member integration, interviewing new coaches. Everyone's evaluated, and we go through each person in the team. So now we've got a team of we're just under 50. We're down to 49 because we had to prune a bit. But we go through all 49 people, their evaluations from the month, what they're going to be working on next month, that kind of stuff, and that's tomorrow. Yes, that's the beginning of every month we do that. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that as a group for?
Oh, it's evolved. It's gotten, I'd say, more serious and the word, business. We've had to get more serious through time, because when you open up and you're like the only box in town, it's like, easy days, right? the whole breadbasket is yours sort of thing. And now, like in Bordeaux, it's a city of 800,000 people, but there are 29 CrossFit gyms.
Wow.
So we used to have informal meetings, and they became half-day meetings, and then they're one-day meetings, and then the format, it just evolves over time. So there is some accountability, there's some reporting. Numbers are important, right? You know, if you want to optimize your resources, and we know that you can quickly deviate in when you're running like small gyms. I call them small gyms, but they're not really small gyms. But when you're running gyms, you can quickly lose whatever margin you do have over time. I mean, like our rents increased by 6.6% this year, which doesn't sound, you know, crazy, but if your margins at the end of the month are 15% or something, and your highest fixed cost is increasing by 6.6, that might represent 1.52% of your margin, just through the increase in rent. So you need to learn to operate as you go through time, smarter and smarter. And then then you look at staffing costs. We pay our coaches now. The average hourly wage is €5 more per hour than it was when we came out of COVID. But when we're giving just the 2 clubs in Paris, we're giving over 50 classes a day. So there's an extra cost of 250 smackers a day just on the wage increase for our coaches. And it's not wasted money, but you've got to keep an eye on those numbers, because you can quickly atrophy whatever margin you do have. It evolves, right? It slips. So you've got to be a bit careful. So that's why we have a very serious day at the beginning of the month, and the better we plan and prepare the month, the more in control we are of our results, of what we do with our teams and our members, and then the more fun you can have throughout the month. You know, you're not running behind the bus, right? You're driving it. So we do take our leaders out for a day or 2 each month to plan and prepare and work together and make sure we're aligned and that we see things the same way.
Awesome to hear. And a lot of the big, better gyms that I've seen and heard from, when I say better, I mean profitable and buzzing, you know, thriving, the gyms, they all seem to do the same thing. So last time I saw you was at Rogue in Aberdeen a few weeks ago now, and had the pleasure of listening to you and watching you on stage, taking questions and answering about affiliation and running gyms and that kind of thing. And what the theme behind it all was, I guess, from the questions that I heard people asking, was where's the low-hanging fruit? And I hate to use business terms from corporate world, but unfortunately we live in that world as gym owners now. We've become a little bit more business orientated, like you said. Where do you think, going across the world, going to different gyms, different countries, seeing different kind of, themes behind what CrossFit is around the world, what do you think generally is the low-hanging fruit for most affiliates that they're not taking consideration of?
I'd say already following up the business that is falling into your lap already. So incoming phone calls, emails, walk-in traffic, social media contacts. The number of gyms that don't get back to someone or don't get back to them in a timely fashion is pretty outrageous, number one. And then when they do have a first contact or first hit, human nature is we're afraid of change, right? We fear change. So not everyone's going to come in and say, I want to join your gym. And so you mustn't take I want to think about it, I want to go and see another gym, I want to talk to my wife or my partner. Maybe I should get fit before coming in. Those aren't no's. Those aren't, I'm not interested in your gym. Those are basically, I have some doubts, I need some help. And so there aren't a sufficient number of gyms that actually follow up those prospects after a first contact. So I'd say that is, how do you catch all that natural traffic that's coming? And it's not free traffic, right? Your biggest marketing cost is your rent. I see it as a marketing cost. Because you can pay higher rent and be in a more visible spot, right? And a spot that's easier to access and that kind of stuff. So I see it as a marketing cost. You pay for presence on the internet and the quality of service you're investing in. All that creates that natural traffic. So it's not free. You invest in that. So you should take it very seriously. I'd recommend having a guest register at reception. when anyone who walks in who's not a member fills out the guest register. So regardless of what that result is on the first day, there's a way for you to follow them up. So I'd recommend that. And if you don't know what a guest register is, hey, send me a DM and I'll email you a copy of what a guest register looks like. And so I'd recommend that. And then the other thing is, we think that we're working bring a friend weeks and all that kind of stuff, but most gyms are not good at asking for referrals. And the bring a friend week is quite passive. It's like, I'll talk to you and say, oh yeah, Jake, if ever you think of someone, bring them in, right? I've cast my net, and maybe at one point you'll bring someone in 3 months' time, a year's time or whatever. It's very different to, hey Jake, listen, how'd you like the class? Yeah, loved it. Mate, can you do me a favor? You got your phone on you? Yeah. Listen, we have these T-shirts here. For 5 names and numbers, I can give you one of these limited edition T-shirts. Just think of 5 people that you'd like to invite in to come and try CrossFit with you, and then we'll get them in to come and do a class with you. And if they like it, hey, they can join. And if they don't, well, at least they've discovered what CrossFit's about. And that's the difference is, I'm getting a name and number from you, and so then I'm in control afterwards. And we're very passive, and we think that our members, if they like what we do, they'll naturally bring people in. But when you start asking for referrals as opposed to just sowing that seed for bring a friend in the future.
Can't hear you at the moment, Daniel. We've lost you. Where are you? Can't hear you at the moment, Daniel. Hang on. Let me see if I can get you back. People. No, volume's gone. We can see you, sir, which is great. So yeah, so those of you that listen at the moment, I actually saw the guest register idea a little while ago on Daniel's stories, and we've implemented it at the gym. And it has worked. We've got quite a few people out of that. But the names and numbers for a T-shirt or whatever you want to give away is a great idea. That's fantastic. Something I haven't really considered before. Good. Well, we're working on the volume. You might need to leave and then come back in, Daniel, if you can hear me. Let's have a look. We go there. Can you hear me, Daniel? You might need to leave and come back in. Hang on. So we do that. Then hopefully Daniel comes back. We're going to move on to the French Throwdown very shortly. But Daniel's main role, his main role, the way that I see it for public and outwardly, is the affiliates and assisting affiliates with their development, because he is the man to know. And if you're going to look at any success story in CrossFit, Daniel's the man in Paris with Louvre 1, 2, and 3. Great success in the middle of Paris. So let's add Darren back to the stage. Yes, we can. Thank you so much for rejoining. There we go. Can you hear me?
Jake?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, there we go. Yay. I don't know what happened there.
Fantastic. It might have kicked onto Wi-Fi or something like that.
It may, yes, sorry. May have done, yeah.
That's right. So, one thing I was going to ask Daniel. So, I saw you at Rogue, obviously, and
yep.
We'll move on to the French Throwdown, if that's okay. What I wanted to say about Rogue was, I know you were there with loads of different hats on at Rogue, but I can't sing Bill and Katie's praises enough for the event that they've put on over the years and how it's evolved. As an event organizer for the French Throwdown, is there one big takeaway that you take from Rogue each year when you attend, and how you can implement that lesson with the? I know you've been doing it for a lot longer than they have. However, is there anything that you get inspired by with Rogue?
Oh, immensely, honestly. So there are 3 events that I go to religiously where I steal unashamedly from. Rogue is one, Waterpalooza is another, and the games is the third. And learn different things from each of those. So the reason I'm saying this is because Rogue for me embodies really well a mix of Wodapalooza and the games. What it's taken from Wodapalooza, which I think Wodapalooza does, I would say better than anybody, is the atmosphere, the fun. It's a fun event. Probably not the best test of fitness. Probably, the judging may not be as, I'd say, military precise as at the games. But that atmosphere, the fun vibe, music, a festival feel to it, what Wodapalooza's got down to pat. And I think Rogue do that pretty well. The village, the Legends evenings the night before, all the games at the end there, the food court, all that kind of stuff, Rogue do very well. And then what they also do very well is what the games does really, really well, which is the organization and the structure. And there's no coincidence, right? Rob Lawson, Drake, 2 of the guys that operate Rogue, and they've been in the games team for years. And I think they brought with them that precision in judging, the setups, the build teams, how everything's laid out and run with amazing precision. And so Rogue are really good at combining those 2 things, not just being and is Rogue as good a test of fitness as the games? My argument would be no, but that's not the goal of Rogue. The goal of Rogue is to showcase some of the best athletes, and it's their marketing, right? It's people talk about Rogue all year, because they're a great equipment company, but the event gives them that. It's an amazing marketing piece for them. And so they combine that. They combine the festival vibe from Wodapalooza and that precision in the test. And I'm not saying it is the best test. I think the games is a better test than Rogue. But they do that amazingly well. So how they welcomed spectators, the VIP area, how we were welcomed, how we were looked after, all of that sort of stuff is the proximity to the floor, the proximity to the athletes. You pick up a load of details. And so we did our after action report after Rogue, and we will probably adapt 7-8 things from just going to visit Rogue. So I was there for pleasure. I was there having been invited by Bill Katie and the team, and I bought. I think we were 9 of us from the boxers and from the French Throwdown, including my son. We had a wild time, really, really good. The other thing is, they have the luxury of being able to have only like 40 CrossFit athletes and a dozen or so strongman, strong women athletes, right? Which gives you a freedom in the programming and in controlling your spectators. When are they in the arena, and when do they leave the arena to then go back into the vendor village, into the food courts and that kind of stuff? That sort of flow is really good at Rogue because they have that luxury. Whereas, for example, our event or the Wodapalooza, you got people on. You got to get people out. You've got 30 different categories. You got teams, individuals. You got beginners. You got intermediates. You got like a fun category. You got the elites. You got and so you've constantly got people performing and hitting the workouts. So you don't have those moments where 100% of the people are gravitating towards the vendor village and towards food courts. And so it's I think Rogue have that advantage of having fewer athletes to get through. What a great event, and it shows just how good they are at it. That they can actually just transpose it. They take it from Texas and they just bring it over to Scotland for a couple of years. Do you know where it's going to be next year?
No, but I heard some rumors. One of the I'll say what I can and what I've heard, but the one of the helpers, one of the staff there that were helping with the community workout, she mentioned quite loudly, so I don't think it's a secret. She mentioned that the tariffs and everything that would mean coming over to Europe again were having to be assessed for if it would be feasible to do it in Europe because of the amount of costs that were elevated this year for next year.
Right.
However, I heard a lot of other people saying that quite openly, again, so this isn't a secret, that a couple of venues around Europe were being looked at by staff from Rogue. So no definite answer there, but rumors for both sides of the story. So, but then again, the kit being brought over from the US, it would have to be the extravagant stuff, you know, like the cannon for the balls and all the big stuff being not made in Europe, because they've got a depot in Northern Europe anyway.
Up in Belgium. Yeah,
which makes me think that the argument of tariffs and all that kind of malarkey, I don't know how true that is. I would love it to be in Europe, but if it isn't, I wouldn't hold it against them, because seeing the gravity of the event and all that, I sat back. I was very, very fortunate to have known someone that had front row seats right next to the coach's pen in the corner where the athletes came out. I got invited there with my mate Jon to go and sit there. And after the events, between the events, when they were changing the kit over, we were sat just watching the logistics, like the cherry pickers coming out, the flooring coming out for the kit to be loaded up, all the helpers sprinting out, coming out and helping. It was just all the stuff behind the scenes was fascinating. And just to see the effort, the monumental, like, just hugeness of the thing, away from those 10-minute snippets of work, and that, you know, that what is televised. It was incredible to see, and that's the kind of stuff I'm massively impressed. And we talked about this 7 months ago when you were on the show, which I'll come back to in a minute. But I am impressed, obviously, by the performance, by the athletes, of what they can achieve and what they can do. But for me, it's the event itself. It's the periphery. It's the stuff that goes with it that fascinates me. That I'm like, you know, I'm looking at and watching around and seeing what's going on. Rather than the main event, that behind the scenes feel, you know, which I think is what I kind of love seeing. Like when I was at the French this year, just gone, it was I was kind of like watching you more a lot of the time. I felt, and just the way that you orchestrate and everything, and you'd spot something and go over, and it just almost like kind of people watching in a way, just rather than watching the people actually there to perform. It's the performances away from the the platform.
It's like an orchestra playing, right? It's like an orchestra playing, and I mean, Bill and Katie are very good at it. And also they've got hundreds of iterations through different regionals and the games as well, right? And they've got a very experienced team. I mean, I'm very good friends with Juha and Arnar from the European team. These guys, I mean, they got their heads on a swivel at events, and they can see things that, you know, I could stare at it for an hour, I still wouldn't see it. You know, operating an event is a very specific skill set, I think. It's kind of like, you know, it was Chuck Carswell saying, you know, what goes into being an excellent coach, I can't quite describe it, but you know it when you see it. Well, that's how I feel about an event. It's hard to describe what it takes to run a really good event, but you know it when you see it.
I guess that's just excellence in general, isn't it? With a lot of the times, like when you see a coach, when you see like athleticism, like we it's really hard to pinpoint. Are our CrossFit athletes athletic? Like there's certain athletes that we have, like Danielle Brandon. You look at her move and you go, she's a natural athlete. There's something there that the other athletes have to work really hard to keep up with. But excellence, I guess, is something that it was obviously nurtured. But like you said, that coaching, every now and again, you'll experience a coach. It's like Carl Stedman. He's been with Chuck, I think, this week. But he's the same. You watch him move around. You see him with people. You see this sort of knowledge, this understanding of people and how people tick. It's just innate in them, and it's great to watch.
Yeah, good old Stedders. Yeah, he is an amazing coach. Stedders.
And an amazing rucker. Did you see his exploits last weekend?
He's an amazing what? Sorry.
Rucker.
Oh right.
Yeah. He went to the ruck race finals last weekend in Texas.
I'll tell you offline, but that just gives me a joke. You sounded a ruck race. It's kind of, you know, the reason for Lululemon, right? Well, we'll talk about okay. I got something for you. I got a story for you afterwards.
Okay, cool.
So the ruck race. Are you absolute ruck race? Are you?
Yeah. He's a rucker. He's a silly rucker. But yeah, one of my questions actually was with wordplay. You're a bit of a cunning linguist, aren't you? With the amount of languages you speak, has that always been some? Were you as a kid? Did you get into languages young?
Yeah, always been good with my tongue. Yes, yeah. I did get into languages young. My mum went to no mum jokes, please. My mum went to a French school in London.
Okay.
The French Lycée in South Kent. And so when they had my sister, my older sister, and myself, it was she goes, "Oh, what an amazing experience to come out and be bilingual." And so they put my sister and I into this French school when we were 5, and I didn't speak any French, and so I was put into this class at 5, and I didn't speak for a year because I just didn't understand like when the kids would stand, I'd stand. When they go up and draw flowers on a board, I'd go and draw flowers on a board. Go out and play, I'd go out and play. They'd have a snooze and piss their pants. I'd have a snooze and piss my pants. And I did that for the first year sort of thing. And then just learned to speak French because all the kids around you speaking French. And so French was my second language. And then I just made a lot of a huge number of French and Lebanese, because at the time the conflict in Lebanon had happened with the PLO and the Syrian army and stuff. And so I had a huge number of Lebanese friends and French friends. So you're just around foreign languages all the time. And my closest friends were French speaking. Holidays would then be to France with my friends and that kind of stuff. First girlfriends were anything but English. I don't think I had an English girlfriend until I was well in my 20s.
Wow.
It wasn't from lack of trying. And then Spanish at school. And then when I left school, I was kind of like, well, Italian's pretty close to Spanish, and these all Latin-based languages, so I'm going to go and learn Italian. So I can't remember. I bought like a book to learn Italian. I was studying Italian in the evenings and stuff, and then I ended up with an Italian girlfriend and traveling to and from Italy a bit and that kind of stuff. And so I picked up Italian there, and then I can't speak German. But I don't tell the German team, because when I used to work with the team in Germany, I can actually understand what they say, and I can get it, and I can understand some finer elements to it. So those are my main languages. English, French, Spanish, Italian, in that order would be my main languages.
That puts me to shame. Funny enough, German. We're both going to be, I believe, in Berlin early February at Coaches Congress.
Oh, you dirty dog! You're going to Berlin as well. Okay.
I'm going to be emceeing on stage 1.
Are you? Trouble?
Yeah. So I'll be able to introduce you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I was kind of hoping. I know for Madrid in April they've got the earpieces that are going to do live translation.
That's right.
For all the speakers. I was kind of hoping they'd do that for Germany. I'm not going to be learning German anytime soon.
Are they doing it for Germany or not?
Don't think so. No.
I don't think so.
No, I think it's new for Madrid.
But because most of the presenters, from what I've seen, are native English speakers anyhow, right?
Yeah. Velner and the team. Cool. Anyway, so side note. So actually on that, obviously I saw you at Coaches Congress at Twickenham. Yeah. Going back to the French Throwdown this year, you kindly invited me to the French this year to reignite the passion in me, I think. I think what happened was when we were on the show 7 months ago, you saw that there was a lackluster approach to events. You saw a disconnect from the culture, and you invited me along. And I have to say, it did just that. I've been to every event I could since then, because I saw you at SID I saw you at Rogue. I saw you at Coaches Congress. You've been at every single event that I've been to, and you've been to a million other ones. So obviously, I'm preaching to the choir here. These events are our touching points for our culture and our community. We can't live in these bubbles forever. We do have to branch out. So just for personally, a quick thank you for that, because you've reintroduced me to this concept of something bigger. And I think perhaps that might be a commonality between a lot of box owners and coaches across the world. There's not that touching point necessarily. We seem to have disconnected a little bit. And part of what I see is, and I won't go into politics too much because, this is a CrossFit show. However, I see across the board this reach out at the moment globally for culture. People want culture. They want to embrace what they have or had felt like they'd lost. They want to embrace what makes them and their legacy and their history, and I think CrossFit's going through that as well. I think we're looking back and we're saying we want that thing back that we had and held dear and made us what we were. We don't want the difference, so to speak, in the new differences that have come about, because you can have your culture and you can have progress at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. What do you think of that?
I won't say you're wrong.
No.
I actually agree with nearly everything you said there. I think people want culture without a doubt. Otherwise, you forget who you are, right? If there's no culture, you just become vanilla. And we don't want CrossFit to become vanilla. So we have to remind ourselves what our culture is. But if we're isolated, there's certain 10,000 affiliates, say, I don't know, an average of 5 coaches per box, 50,000 passionate coaches, and they just stay in their box and they just do their hours and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's 10,000 gyms going in 10,000 different directions. They may have a common start point, but if you never come together, if you don't find reasons to come together and exchange and share best practices and do a round table and have a coffee and a chat and catch up and just realize, like, shit, there's so much commonality here. And that's what drives our culture. So if you don't find excuses to come together, you will lose your culture, and that's when you'll drift, and then you'll move on to the next shiny thing. And so I think coming together is really important. The other thing is also it's kind of like the issue with the younger generations that are used to working remotely. Isolation is dreadful. Isolation is not good for anybody, in particular small business owners who have to face, every single month you're putting your future on the line. You don't have any job security, all that kind of stuff. So if you isolate yourself, your depression is one of the biggest issues at the moment in the world, in the Western world, because especially since COVID, it's been accentuated, the isolation piece. And so if box owners isolate themselves in their gyms and don't come out to play with others, it's a tough gig. I think you then have 10,000 gyms going in 10,000 directions, and there's strength in numbers. So I know I do agree with you. And there's a great book called The Culture Code that I would recommend to anybody about building culture, and in it describes how difficult or near on impossible it is to create culture remotely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. The Culture Code. I'll look at that. So I just got on. Henrik is in the house. Bonjour, Henrik. Salut.
Is he in the chat? Is he?
He is in the chat.
There's some cool messages earlier. I can see them.
Yeah.
Something about snowing. 25 inches is a lot, isn't it? Or is that 0.25 inches? I'd say 0.25 inches isn't.
Isn't enough.
Yeah. So sleep. I was like, yeah, they're talking. Bonjour les saucisses. Okay, yeah, that's hello you sausages.
Yeah.
Cet homme est très beau. That man is very handsome. It must be talking about you. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I know it. He called you fat, Jake. Who's he? Oh, is it me? I called you fat.
Well, when you said about I don't look how ripped in clothes and stuff, I took that as a compliment. But Sean doesn't like me, so he's said that's a kind of. Yeah, we've got a rowdy crowd. But they're all good.
Is the big head a compliment? I'm not kidding. These comments are fantastic. I love it. Is this your regular crew? Is it?
Yeah, there's a few of yeah. They're good people. They've been trained by Savon how to interact with humans, which isn't always the best way. But they love it. The last time I had you on, we had this question pop up between you and I asked about a million other people, and it was what do athletes lack that would make them a good coach, right? And you said selflessness, and even Greg said, "Wow, that's the best answer." So Greg gave another idea. I've asked a few other people since: Andy, Gareth, Ed Morrison, tons of people, Carl, and since we had that conversation, Lucy Campbell has come and completely shattered any ideas that I had about people couldn't be a great athlete and a great coach, or it was very, very rare and uncommon. Lucy's kind of they've been the exception that proves the rule. And then Harry Lightfoot goes and does his L2 and says he's a coach. And then I spoke to Manon Anganese last week, and she's a daily CrossFit coach who's an insane athlete as well. So my thoughts on that have kind of evolved as well. Because obviously Lucy's helping out at Battle for Middle Ground as a volunteer. She's part of a massive ambassador for our culture. She's an L2 coach who coaches programs at Nottingham. She's very vocal on that. And she is, I think, the most successful women's athlete this year on the circuit, which kind of goes to show you can do it. So, which is lovely. And she grew up about 10 minutes away from where I grew up. So there's probably something in the water from where we were. Although she's gone a little bit further with CrossFit than I ever did. But yeah, so
it's your big head, mate. It's
big head.
Catches the wind, it weighs you down.
Like, did you collect those little football players in the 90s? I don't suppose you did you?
Oh, yeah. They had really large heads. Yeah.
One of them.
Lovely knees.
Yeah. That's it. So let's talk French Throwdown 2026.
I got a comment for what you just mentioned about coaches and athletes. The first person who really took my breath away when I watched them compete and coach was Chris Spieler. And he was one of the few to be a tremendous athlete and a tremendous coach.
Yeah.
And when I mean like a tremendous coach, not just the presence and we go, oh my God, it's Chris Spieler, what a great, it's like he would literally take a group of 16 people, and in an hour it was like watching chef d'orchestre take the musician through it. And I think when we're looking at personality traits, these are selfless people, which makes them able to really turn towards other people during that hour. But I've realized that they're not too shabby at it. So they've decided to make themselves selfish in order to be a good athlete. But I mean, you know Harry and this, they're just really nice.
Yeah.
They're really nice people. It's like I'd have no issues with them coming around for the weekend, with their partners and hanging out at the house and having barbecues by them. They're just really nice people. No airs and graces. There's no pretense. There's no arrogance. There's no narcissism to them. They are sincerely nice people, and I think that's why they can do both. And and also the other thing is sense of humor. I think when someone's, and they both have really good sense of humor. And that just shows that they don't take themselves too seriously, and they can have a laugh as well. So
I also think, and I'd like to hear your opinion on this. I think the people with the best senses of humor, I think there's a correlation between levels of ability with humor and to make others laugh and intelligence. there seems to be this ability to connect dots, to cross-reference, which is essentially what a joke is. It's taking two things and comparing them and then just taking them apart. That requires a lot of intelligent thought. It's why a lot of the top stand-ups in the world are very, very intelligent people. And that would appear in their game plan as well. Although Harry does go off like a rocket sometimes, which is brilliant. At Rogue, the one where he's wearing that, I think it was a Celtic top, when he went mad and he did the
ran around the
yeah.
stadium.
What a moment that was! That was awesome. But their game planning and the way that they train does kind of show that. And Harry trains with Amy, who's the star of the island where I live, which is always a good thing. So getting back to the French Throwdown 2026 then.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a few things that I wanted to ask about that. So first of all, the change in location. Obviously, you've gone back to Paris now. What was the biggest factor in the move back to Paris?
We'd always been in Paris up until 2 years ago when we went to Lyon and then to Montpellier. And it was seeking a venue that could welcome a community event, but also be good enough for a really good semi-final. And so we found this new place in Paris. It was built December of last year, so it's a year old now.
Wow.
And it's literally like it's 10 minutes from the airport, from Charles de Gaulle. And so we're like going, wow, for a semi-final, for international athletes and spectators, this is way easier than down south. And then also, Paris is Paris, right? I mean, if you want to come and do a 3-day event or come and see a 3-day event, well, then spend 4 or 5, and you can, if you've got kids, you can go to Disney. You can walk around Paris, dodge the dog shit, avoid the pickpockets, and you're fine. You can drop into one of the most amazing boxes on the planet. Let you guess the name of that one. And so there's a lot of good stuff to do in Paris as well, to make it like a really good holiday, or to make it a good team building, or as a recompense to someone. If you've been a bad boyfriend or husband, you can gain brownie points. We're going to Paris the weekend. Yay! What are we gonna do? We're gonna go and hang out in an
arena. Well, in an arena full of hunky men. That's where I'm going to take you.
Oh my goodness, that would be like throwing your girlfriend and your wife to the wolves. Yeah. You probably don't want to do that. You probably want to take them up the Champs-Elysees with all the soy boys. The bean eating weaklings.
Well, I think a lot of bean eating happens in Paris.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about eating beans now. So the structure of the structure of the game season on paper in my mind hasn't changed too much, because of it's sort of reverting back to sort of how it was a few years ago, with the exception of the in-person masters and teams, which I absolutely love the fact that that's happened. And I think everyone has said the same thing. With a personal interest, because my mother-in-law, she's been to the games twice. She won Wodipalooza this year in January. She's 65 plus. She is looking forward to being invited when she does well in the Open and the quarterfinals to the French Throwdown. So we're planning.
You place that there.
I'll just leave it there. She asked me to, because the thing is with the Masters, it's not often like she's been to the games twice. The only other in-person competition she's actually done is Wodipalooza. She's done 3 in-person events her entire CrossFit career, and it's been the games twice and Wodipalooza. So she's not. Yeah. She's not gone to actually any in-person Masters events locally or within Europe. So for her, being able to potentially qualify for the French Throwdown is a massive thing. a huge opportunity for her, because this is this big event that alongside everyone else, and we've got a team that potentially are going to try and qualify from the island that are really looking forward to it. It's opened up this massive opportunity for many more people in the box, and at a competitive level than we have had in the last couple of years. So I'm really happy with that, and it also gives me, like you said, an opportunity to have a family holiday, so we can all go, because my family will go and support my mother-in-law. That'll be it.
I think it's a good evolution. As you said, right? Teams, obviously, loads of emotion there. The members from the box jump in a van and they come and support their team, like that stuff. But the Masters, saying that the athletes were asking for more opportunities to compete. Talking about the elite athletes, right?
Right.
Which was the argument behind that WFP thing. But I think it was more an argument coming out of COVID, where they hadn't had an opportunity to compete for a couple of years. But I think as a good athlete, you'd like to have maybe 3 opportunities to compete in a year in a good competition. But it's the same for also Masters as well. Why? Because you've just hit 36 or 35, you shouldn't be able to compete 3 or 4 times in good quality competitions. Why? Because you're in your 50s like me, you can't go and compete. Not that I would compete, because if I can qualify, then it's not a very good competition. But why should they not be able to compete 3 times a year on a good, and for them to have their family in the seats, screaming their name and saying, go uncle, go dad, all that kind of. So I think that was a natural evolution, and what a lame experience to do quarterfinals, to do open in a box, quarterfinals in a box, and semifinals in a box, and then to do your semifinal and you don't make it to the games. Like, your best experience was working out in your box like you do all year.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a smart change, obviously. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And can I ask, did that come from you, or did CrossFit kind of approach that? Was it a conversation you guys had together about it? Where did that kind of idea sort of come from?
So I was just reading comments, some really bad comments. So I didn't hear your question. I'm just reading.
Right. This one, because you're a Hammer, aren't you?
I have no idea who.
Rafael van der Vaart.
It's Spurs. He's a Spurs boy.
Yeah, he's a Spurs guy.
Yeah, being stuck out in France, and my son's a Real Madrid fan, so I have to watch all the Real games. So I don't get to see much English football at the moment.
No. How's Bellingham getting on?
I hope Van der Vaart is a sexy beast.
Well, he must be.
Must be. You don't even know he is. How's Bellingham? I'd say mixed bag, really. But my son loves Bellingham. He's just like.
Oh dear! Hang on. It wasn't a compliment.
It wasn't.
No, I don't even want to bring him up.
But that's because you've only seen from the shoulders up. The rest of me would be yeah. So what was your question before we got sidetracked by this comment?
I can't remember. What is that? What?
Daniel? He's a chubby checker.
Maybe when he looks nothing like.
Yeah, I don't see the resemblance at all.
No, me neither. I'll get rid of that, shall we?
What about this comment of, can Daniel say get the chopper first? Why do I sound like Schwartzy? Get the chopper. Get to the chopper.
That's not bad. That's not bad. A couple of years ago, we had this thing where every guest that came on the show, we got to say, get to the chopper.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Thanks. I've been working on it. And do you know who actually nailed it?
No idea.
It was Lazar.
Really?
He nailed it. He found it hilarious. He was on the show with Savon, and he was laughing his head off. It was quite a pretty cool episode then. Yeah. I said it was the lighting. No amount of lighting would make Daniel look like that.
I'm gonna change seats. I'm gonna change seats. They're gonna go, oh my God, he looks like he's dead.
There we go.
Walking Dead.
You look like Guy Ritchie now. Anyway, I don't even know what he looks like. So yeah, back to the French trainer. So Okay, here's a question then. I asked you about Rogue and what people get from Rogue, other event organisers. Bit of a step away from your own kind of soul at the moment, but what do you think other event organisers would gain and get inspiration from coming to watch the French Throwdown?
Oof. I think how we welcome and look after our volunteers is one of the things. I think that's one of the things. We realize that it's an event not just for athletes. It's an event for everybody that's going to give time. So whether it's a partner, we try and look after them, how we welcome them, how we look after them, how we interact with them over the weekend, how we interact with our volunteers over the weekend. Also, how important the affiliates are to everything we do. We wouldn't have, and you have affiliates within the volunteers, you have affiliates within the athletes, you have affiliates within the partners as well, right? Running a lot of the company. And so how we interact with all those different cohorts is something that we spend a lot of time planning and preparing, and we have to get even better at it, and because a lot of these people, it's their only weekend away. They're giving their time, and also for some of these companies, they'll invest to get a stand and all this kind of stuff. So we have to take that experience seriously for them. And it's not just about how good the athletes are on the floor. It goes from the moment they park their car and they walk towards the venue, and that first interaction, that first contact. And so yeah, we spend a lot of time on that, briefing the teams. And the first thing is question to the volunteer: what are you going to say when someone is walking towards you? You're going to smile first of all, and you're going to introduce yourself. You're going to ask them a question, and you're going to say thank you for coming, thank you for dedicating your time to come to this and bring to it. Because everybody makes the event, whether it's a spectator, the volunteer, the athlete, the coach, the partner. Everyone makes the event. It's not just the team that runs it. So how we interact on that, yeah. Someone is absolutely going wild in the comments here, mate. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm going to stop reading them because the people that follow your podcast are nuts. They're on another level.
Yeah. I was one of them once. I've risen, so to speak.
Risen from the dead.
I've ascended. Good. So in terms of qualification, can you talk me through the qualification process? If I'm a under 35, whatever we call it now, not seniors, what do we call it? If I'm an adult and I want to qualify for the CrossFit Games via the French Throwdown, open. Open, yep.
Open and quarters are must. And then you either get invited because you're so well ranked in the open that you get invited to the French Throwdown, or you can also do the French Throwdown qualifiers. So you register, I think it's like $20, and then you do the qualifiers, which happen end of Jan, beginning of February, so it's a couple of weeks before the open, and you qualify through that. But regardless of how you qualify to the French Throwdown, if you want to qualify for the games, you have to have done the open and the quarterfinals.
Brilliant. That was one thing that I watched you on with Chase. A couple of weeks ago now, I think.
Perhaps.
That was a really great show, by the way. But that was one thing that I really picked up on. I love the fact that is a stipulation within there. I do like that.
It should be our pilgrimage. The open is our pilgrimage, right?
Again, I'm preaching to the choir here, but I've been banging on this drum for so long. The open really bloody does matter. It's the tool that most affiliates miss out on in terms of recognizing how damn pivotal it is to your retention for your members, for engagement, for selling what CrossFit truly is. But here's the thing. There's a lot of miscommunication about the open being the sport, but it's a celebration of your programming and your community over the past year. Before that, you get to celebrate, and that is the end result for most people. And we're putting a big emphasis of our gym in this coming year 2026. And already we're seeing this big pickup because of the way that we're framing it, because of the way that we're communicating it to our members. Lo and behold, because we're talking positively, because we're framing it well, people are asking when sign-ups start. People are asking, about it. Are there going to be these people? But the Open is what you make of it. It's this incredible tool that we have. And the Open should really be, if anyone out there claims to be a CrossFitter, it should be a stipulation that you do the Open in order to call yourself a CrossFitter. In my opinion, it's really important. Obviously, issues aside, but the Open does matter. It's the link between the sport and the affiliates.
And also, at an affiliate, if you get your members used to doing a qualifier like the Open, you set them a goal, a training goal. And it's the best loyalty tool as well, right? Give them a set goal, and they're not thinking about doing anything else. They're just going to prepare that, and then Christmas comes around, eat some chocolate, have some mince pies, and then it's back on it. Why? Because the Open is in like 5-6 weeks time, and so it's a really good way, end of the year, beginning of the year, as like a loyalty tool, and then organizing great events around the Open and having some fun with it, and getting your members to judge and do the judges course. It gives us an excuse. It gives us a really good excuse to bring people together again. Yeah.
And the people that I've heard about saying about like the Open doesn't matter, or I haven't signed, or our members don't care about the Open, they learn that. They learn that experience and that attitude from the way that the gym runs and the coaches talk, and that all comes down from the affiliate owner. And again, another reason why the affiliate owners need to get out of their bubble and remember that they're part of this thing, part of it, and why it matters, why that brand and why that name matters, because it is that overarching umbrella that we all kind of look up to and inspire to, which is what I love. The campaigns recently have all been building up to that, so it's awesome.
There's a quick question from Heidi. Right?
Oh, this will be a great one. Heidi's always full of.
Well, I don't know Heidi, so I'm just taking a question at face value, and it's like, what will you do when CrossFit dies and there is no Open? I wish death on nobody, and I can remember when I was going to go and open my first gym, and all the coaches and the gym owners that I knew were going, "Oh my God, you're crazy! It's a fad." That was 15 years ago, and it had already been around for 9 years. So, in an official format. That's a hell of a fad. I wish another good 20 years of happiness and success to the games team with the Open, at least, right? If not more. I don't know why someone would talk about CrossFit dying. The methodology will never die. It's out there. It's been brought to life, and it's being brought to life by the affiliates, I think, on a daily basis. Not just by the affiliates, but the affiliates are the official route, and unashamedly sharing the methodology and proud of it, proud flag bearers. So I don't think CrossFit will die, regardless of who buys, who sells, and all that kind of stuff. I think CrossFit will continue, and I hope the Open does too, because it's bloody good fun. And as you said, it's a good test of your programming, right?
Yes. Yeah. And the thing is, of course, I do care about the purchase and the sale and the billionaires and who's not, who isn't. But of course, it kind of matters to part of it. However, in some respect, I've got no input into it whatsoever. If billionaires are going to buy a company or whoever buys it, I'm going to have no impact on that. It doesn't change my day to day. What does matter is the members at the gym that I coach, that I train, and this name and the methodology and the way that we coach and we teach. For me, that is what CrossFit's all about, and these events that we go to. So for me personally, it kind of does matter, but to me, it doesn't really from the day to day. As long as we keep doing what we're doing and we're celebrating our fitness and we are programming and coaching the hell out of what we believe in, CrossFit won't die. It can't die. It's an idea that won't ever go away. If you're talking about HQ and a company called CrossFit, of course it can go away at some point. But what we have, the L1 manual, the L2 manual that we got there, and the methodology and the idea that we have, that's not going anywhere. And we've,
my members at the 3 boxes, so the box I was at this morning, as I left, the ones that were doing front squats, and they have no idea that there's an HQ. They have no idea who owns it. They don't know if they're shareholders. They don't have a Scooby Doo, and it's good. That's the way it should be, So what they do know is the Open comes around, and yes, we organize it. Do they know that it's CrossFit organizing it, or is it us organizing? I don't care. I don't care what they know. I think the way for our members to feel that the Open is important is for us to feel like it's important and communicate that to them. If your members don't think the Open is important, well, maybe then we're not communicating it as we should be, right? Yeah. Mate, I'm sorry to do. I've got a hard stop in a couple of minutes.
Of course, yeah, not a problem at all. I will be in attendance at the French Throwdown, whether my mother-in-law gets invited or not. Remember, I've asked that.
Well, do you want to invite it? Because I want you to come.
Oh yeah, I would love that. I would love that. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that'd be my highlight of my year.
A trip to Paris with your mother-in-law.
Well, what we'll do, I'll book my flights early, and then she can find her own way, and then I'll get some video footage of her. But no, Daniel, again, thank you for everything you're doing. You've been at every single event that I've been at, inspiring people and showing them the way forward and leading by example. You've ticked all the boxes. You're an incredible guy. You've got an amazing beard. Although you've thrown a few insults my way today, I'll forget all about that because you've put me on a decent trajectory. You've given me this whole concept of what CrossFit is again and getting out of my own bubble.
I called you a stud muffin with your kit off.
Okay. All right. Well, we often remember the bad stuff,
albeit with a really big head that catches the wind as you run. But other than that,
I'm going to be paranoid now. But no, really appreciate your time, Daniel. Thank you for that. Any of the European people the registration is now open for the French Throwdown. Get going. And this year you've got no excuse about age or if you're on a team. You can qualify for the semis in person in France in mid-May. So get registered. We'll get as many of you there as we can. But Daniel Chaffey, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in Berlin in a couple of months' time.
Thank you, and thank you to those writing in the comments. I've had a really good time. I've had a really good time.
Excellent.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Love to hear it. Cheers,
Thanks.
Daniel. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daniel Chaffey. What a guy, eh? Were there a lot of big-headed? There was 2. I didn't grow up near a nuclear power plant or anything. As you've seen, probably noticed, I've expanded my set of drawers, and therefore more room for more shoes. I don't like the all red shoes. Oh, I've got a story. I've got something to tell you. Hang on. See, I'm not a big fan of the reds like that, but oh, they're so cool. Oh, and look, they're hardly worn. Boom. Heidi, you look a mess. Yeah. I can't put them front on. Why are there only one of each? Because these are. I've actually only got one leg, Heidi. Thanks for. I have a pair of Ultras look exactly like Ultras. Something to do with running, probably. Don't know about that. So, are you familiar with the brand SBD? SBD, and if you say, "What does SBD stand for?" You should just go away and die. Squat, bench, deadlift. Now, the brand is a powerlifting brand originally, hence SBD, and they have recently moved into weightlifting. They make sleeves. They make knee sleeves, elbow sleeves. They're a British brand. British brand, and they are predominantly, they're the biggest brand in powerlifting. They're approved by the IPF, and they've recently been approved by the IWF for international weightlifting. And they are going to be the kit supplier for the Commonwealths next year. Now, SBD, who let me bring up their website. Oh no, wrong one. Go back. SBD apparel. So what we're talking about here. Let me share the screen. There. Singlets are predominantly where we're at. Now, they have recently brought out the weightlifting singlets. So weightlifting and powerlifting singlets are obviously very different cut, zip down the back, IWF. Very, very, very good singlets. Anyway, I, as the head of the NGB, National Governing Body in the Isle of Man for weightlifting, was contacted by SBD, and they want to supply us with customized singlets for our prep for Commonwealths and for our international athletes, which is amazing. So we're going to have, and the reason I said about this, we're going to have all red. It's going to kind of be similar colorway to this. It's going to be all red with black detailing, and it's going to be amazing. Weightlifting house, meh. Hang on a minute. See how good my mobility is. Kenneth? So I am familiar with Weightlifting House. However, SBD are the shit. Not shit, the shit. Sartorial elegance. Fantastic. It's really hot in this room. I've got the radiator off as well. Yeah, so SBD will be supplying us with our customized singlets next year for the Commonwealth. What a fucking horrible noise that is. That was for you, Heidi. So yeah, so that's a bonus. I had the conversation yesterday. SBD are amazing. So I don't need blind. You need blinds, yeah? I've got, hang on, look. I've got curtains. Is that better? Is that better? Good. But yeah, so that's that. Programming wise, I don't know if I said, I have taken on a new client who's a pro cyclist. And I've got a mountain biker, downhill mountain biker. So I've got a lot of cyclists now, and their training has given me a lot of food for thought in the gym. So there we go. Different programming. Because it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget that I am indeed a coach. That's my income. That's where I get my money. I've also been playing around because of Grant. So if Grant is still here listening, doing whatever he does, there are uphill mountain bikers. On Instagram, not Instagram, what's the other one? YouTube, doing shorts, yeah. Entering into that, and I don't know how to do it, so I'm just playing around at the moment, which is fun. But I thought there must be a market that is untapped for what we do. So look into this, if you will. I used rainbow colored writing and put a short out with me with my shirt off, and it's got the most amount of views that I've had, which makes me think that I should maybe do that and explore that avenue. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know if you missed it, guys, but YouTube. Hello, Jeffrey. How are you? I want to do a vlog. Of course you do. Oh, you got a race this weekend, Sean, haven't you? Marathon. Can you do that thing where you run and the camera's like by your side? You're like, oh, looking at the camera. Anyway, Coaches Congress in Berlin. I am going to Tube. Just because Shit says get more clicks doesn't mean you should do it. Well, true. But if I am topless anyway, it just so happens that I'm shirtless. You know. Is there anything gayer than doing that? No. I think being actually homosexual is less gay than that. Anyway, so Coaches Congress, as you all know, I was honoured and very, very humbled to become the UK ambassador for Coaches Congress. And I am going to be attending Berlin, and I'm going to be MC on the main stage again. So I'll be introducing everyone, having a hello and a little tinkle on the mic. Which I love doing now. I'm looking forward to it already. And I've got a baby on the way, but that can wait. That'll be February 7th and 8th in Berlin, and I'm looking at going. Now, what I can reveal is that I do have a few tickets to give away to gym owners around Europe that want to attend. Now, what I'm planning on doing is having a couple of UK affiliates on the show in the next month or so. And what I want people to be able to do is to get in my DMs. I want you to slide into my DMs if you're European based, especially specifically UK. If you're a UK based listener and you would like to you think that your affiliate deserves some airtime to talk through, to be highlighted, to celebrate them as an affiliate, get in contact with me. I'd love to take some recommendations on there, to have them on the show to talk about the gym, the culture there, what it means to be CrossFit and that kind of thing. And I would love to be able to reward some of them with some tickets to Berlin. So if you are a viewer of the show, or if not, and you see this online, let me know. Slide into my DMs on Instagram. Let me know your affiliate name, the owner, and why you think they deserve to bag some tickets. Let me know, and I would love to speak to them. So yeah, there we go. One gym that I'm hugely in admiration of at the moment is CrossFit Leamington. CrossFit Leamington in England are host to Flo, who is a lovely lady who I managed to grab for an hour's chat on Saturday. It was recorded, didn't go live. Her young son, Hugo, suffers from a very rare disease where his body can't release glycogen. So the body, as we all know, glycogen is the fuel stored in the muscle and around the liver. And little Hugo, who's 6, he can't release that glycogen. His body is unable to do so. It lacks the ability to do so. So the glycogen sits on the liver. And as Flo went into with me in discussion, Hugo's liver is seeing some scarring already at the age of 6 because of that. So it's one of those, isn't it, where you can be having a shitty day because your lift didn't go well, or you've got a flat tire or whatever, and then you speak to a lady like Flo, and she shows you videos and pictures of her 6-year-old son who's battling this horrible disease from birth, genetic, who every 3 hours, without fail, has to have fueling and medication every 3 hours throughout the night. So Flo and her partner have to do that throughout. And yes, they obviously clearly will have their down moments, but the joy of life, the happiness, the inspiration, just the attitude towards being here, from people like Flo and from Hugo, it really does remind you that you've got it pretty good. And the team at Leamington, and the charity that work with Flo and Hugo, they've been doing some incredible work. And in a world where pharmaceuticals and medication and research is governed and directed by money and profit, no one's putting any time into research. No one's putting any energy into it, because ultimately the reward at the end of it for the companies needs to be money and profit. And because it's such a rare disease, there isn't money at the end of it. So research has been cut and stopped a number of times because they can't see a future for it because there's no money. So what they've come up with is a Wodithon at the end of January. I think it's the 31st January at their CrossFit box, because the whole family do CrossFit. Hugo does CrossFit. He loves it. He wears T-shirts. He's part of their community. He loves it there. It's his favorite place. Flo does the same thing. The whole family does. And they're doing a 24-hour Wodithon. So every hour on the hour for 24 hours, they're going to be doing a workout, and they're hoping to raise money for the charity. Not for Hugo, for the charity, because of the amount of support they've put in. So we let me just find the link, because I do want to make sure that I do everything that we can. Hold the line. Here we go. There's Hugo. There's the little lad. Yeah, the Association for Glycogen Storage Disease. So we've got a £10,000 target set by the team, and we're going to hopefully smash that. I'm going to post this on my story again, and we'll get Flo on near the time. But the guys at CrossFit Leamington have been so cool in organising this for them on behalf of the family and helping doing this. So big up the team there. Let me just pop it in here before I forget. Let me get rid of that. There we go. So little Hugo's the man. It's when I was on the call to Flo, Donnie, my son's 6 as well, and their birthdays around the same time, and it does bring it home, doesn't it, when you get reminded of what could be. But again, on the flip side of that, again, Flo was talking from such a positive point of view and perspective, and like I said, of course, there's feelings that aren't in line with this sometimes, but she was saying she's seen it as an opportunity to educate Hugo, because Hugo has to live on a very low carb diet. He can't ever have things like sweets or chocolate. He won't be able to have alcohol when he's older. He has to eat high protein, high fat diet. He has to avoid the storage of glycogen as much as he can. He has to maintain blood sugar. He has to drink plenty of water. His body, in essence, has told him he has to live the purest form of energy system that they can do. And Flo was talking about it. She was saying by the time he's 18, he will probably be one of the healthiest boys or men that are out there, because he's had to have a mandatory life on that classic CrossFit sort of prescription that we talk about for nutrition. But yeah, what a good cause, and what a decent family. And there's so many more people out there like that we as CrossFit kind of embrace and are part of our tribe, part of our team. And I love that. It makes all the other shit just seem completely fucking trivial. Who's buying CrossFit, like in this, that, and the other? Who cares? stories like this are incredible. And on that, USN, who are a brand, supplement brand, who Jon, I know you're in the chat. Remember Nicole? We saw them at Rogue. The lady that worked out as well, who was on the stand of USN. They've reached out, and they've offered to supply supplements and to fuel the people doing the workouts that at Leamington. So they've reached out from the video, from the post, and amongst other people, they're chipping in and helping out where they can. So again, the power of our community is very rare out there that we see stuff like that. So another reason to be in love with the thing that we have. Yeah, Trish, I can't. Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? I get, like I said to Daniel a minute ago, I get why people would. I get why people would be inquisitive. I get why it's a thing, but ultimately, like, to me, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't excite me. When I find out, I'll be okay, cool. Like, let's see. But it's not for me. It's not. And look, we need everyone to have differences of different things they look for, different excitement levels, different things that inspire people and get people talking and that kind of thing. And just like the sport, the ownership is one issue that people should talk about and should. But in my little corner of it, it doesn't matter. It's not part of what I kind of look into. Not to say it's right or wrong, and it's different. But all good. So yeah, try and share that story as much as you can, guys. I know that not everyone is in Europe and the UK, but the more eyes we can get on that, the better. So please share that where you can. So coming up to an hour and a half now. Coming up now to 2:30 on Tuesday. I am off to coach in a bit. So I need to go and take the kids for a walk up the woods. Yeah. And then off to coach. So have an amazing day. Thank you to my guest, Mr. Daniel Chaffey, living it up in Bordeaux. Jet setter, go-getter, the man who leads by example. He's at the front. And thank you all for being in the chat, in the comments section, contributing. Grant, before you disappear again, I need to pick your brains about YouTube stories or shorts, whatever the fuck they're called. One of my shorts got 7 views. Another one is on 3,000 views. I don't know why. Anyway, have a lovely day. Thank you all for joining me. Good to see you, lad, Mr. Jeffrey. Go pay him. Rent's due. But have a lovely day, everyone. Enjoy life. Get out there. Do your thing. Do something hard. And I'll see you tomorrow.